Okay, in this video, we're going to introduce our next poetic form. Again, like I said on the Google Classroom, this is one of my favorite types of poetry to do with students. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Okay. Today, we're going to be taking a look at something called concrete poetry. Now, this is going to be one of these things where it's going to be a lot easier to understand this if we see it, but I do want to go over just a couple things. First of all, this form of poetry has been around since about 1500, so it's not really a new type of poetry. It's actually quite old, and it was originally called pattern or shape poetry. The term concrete poem was coined in the 1950s, so that's a little bit of a newer term. Basically, concrete poetry is where we are writing a poem, but at the same time presenting an idea graphically by using the letters and or the words to create a picture. So this is a really fun art form because it allows us not only to be clever and creative with our words, but also clever and creative with the picture that we leave behind with our words. So let's go ahead and just get through this. I'm going to show you a couple of examples and then answer a couple questions hopefully that you might have for the actual assignment. So this is an example of concrete poetry. This is called The Swan in Shadow by John Hollander, probably one of the most famous concrete poems that you're going to see, written in 1969. So what you see obviously is you see a swan on top of the water and you see its shadow beneath. Okay. Here's another one, and you can kind of see maybe if you can tell what these are pictures of as we go through. Okay. Before we do that though, what we need to keep in mind is that the arrangement of letters and words are used to create an image that offers something visually with a meaning. So what you leave behind as a picture is also as important as the words that you choose for the poem. Okay. The physical arrangement in a concrete poem can provide cohesion. It can also be something that allows the reader to kind of pick and choose what they're doing and where they're reading and where they're starting. So you can play around with the physical arrangement and give the reader an option, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then you can also use this thing called white space, which is unused space, which can also become a significant part of the poem. Here's another one. This is called Dove's Song by Court Smith. Court Smith is a very famous concrete poet. This one I love because, again, the cool thing about it is we don't really know where to start, and that's okay. So as a reader, I can start this in a couple different ways. I could start it with wrap in nature's cloak, cast away your arms, dress for peace. I could start it with cast away your arms, wrap in nature's cloak, dress for peace. Or I could start it, dress for peace, wrap in nature's cloak, cast away your arms. So you can decide as the poet whether you want to kind of leave this open to interpretation, or sometimes you'll see that the way the poem is written in the picture makes where we're supposed to start pretty clear. Here's another one. Again, also by Court Smith, called Breezes. I love this one because, again, where do we start, right? And again, it gives us that freedom to do that. Sails unfurl, winds swirl, mast straining, port waning, foaming seas set spirits free. Or you could start it with mast straining, port waning, foaming seas set spirits free, sails unfurl, winds swirl. So where we start is really open to interpretation. Right? Here's some more examples that'll really hit home with what we're looking for. Just real quick on the Breezes here by Court Smith, you can also see that they added some lines here. So you can add some pieces to the poem, the picture in particular, to really set the picture apart. This is called Shoes by Morgan Barnes. Again, here's a great example of using white space to help you create your piece. Okay, this is The Cupcake. Again, you can see the words are even upside down. So have some fun with that. Be creative. Love this one. It says here, again, where do you start this? I don't know, but you can see that there's a lot of cool things in there word-wise. And it's kind of hard to see, but you can see lines like, I will never leave you. Everything will be just fine. Here's another one. Dorothy Charles, Concrete Cat. I love this one. The picture is actually created by just words. So when you look at this one, you see ear, ear, eye, whisker, 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 mouth, right? Stripe, 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 paw, 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 tail, tail, dish, dish, litter box, litter box. And then I love the fact that the mouse is upside down because the mouse is dead. Very cool. My Little Pony people, there you go. Again, where do you start reading this? I don't know. Again, it's open to our interpretation. Here's the guitar. I love this one. Again, it says, the guitar interrupts the silence. Slowly, the listeners sway. The performer shares his voice. The tranquil ambience is created, pure visions of days lost. It could also start with pure visions of day lost. And you can see that they also added the musical notes and also the lines to really drive the picture home. So don't be afraid to do that. Here's another one by Hollander called The Key, Skeleton Key. Oh, with what key shall I unlock this heart? Tight in a coffer of chest. Something awaits, a jab, a click, a sharp turn. So again, you can see how they're also using some of this white space here to create the image. Soccer players, you'll like this shoe. This is the Nike Mercurial. Love this one. And again, you can see how they've added some of that artistic creativity in there. Where does this poem start? Again, I have no idea, but you can see how it works. This is called The Conspiracy Headache, right? Love this one. It happens every Monday without fail. Show up to work like the rest of them. So again, this starts here and kind of works through left to right. And you can see that they've added those little lines here and there to create the picture of the man. This is one of my personal favorites. Again, I would assume this starts sort of left to right, and you have a plane that is taking off. So it could read a click, a sputter, a whoosh to roar, a flick, a shudder, a push to soar, the winds steady, the nose held high, the plane is ready to touch the sky. So again, how you kind of work through it and read it, really cool because it's open to interpretation. Love this one, Michael Jordan, big Michael Jordan fan. And again, this one is really words that associate with his career, and they've used that to create that picture of him. Here's another one called The Guardian. Absolutely love this one. I also love the different colors. So the orange here for the snowman and the nose, the top hat in black, the arms in brown, the scarf here in black too. So just really, really clever. Again, where does it start? I don't know. This one's called Bad Hair Day. Absolutely fantastic. Very creative. Again, person with some crazy hair going on. This one is called the Statue of Liberty. Again, I know it's really hard to see, but you can see, again, all the words are kind of pieced together to create this image. Here's a very famous one called Doctor Who. And again, you can see the white spaces used to help create the picture. And this one here, if you take a quick look at it, can you take a guess and figure out what it is? This one is a very famous one called the Panda Bear. And again, to think in only two colors, black and white, and to be oblivious to all others, only black or white or shallow or deep, high or low, agree or fight. I only think in black or white. So you can see that again, the words kind of go left to right here. And I love the use of the author's white space here to really drive home the point of the panda, right? Here's some more. Again, picture of a tree. So for your assignment, which is due next Monday, you are to create your own concrete poem. Be creative. Do me a favor. Stay away from hearts. Stay away from your hand. Stay away from a star. Be creative. Don't be afraid to also use color. And remember the layout. Don't be afraid to use that dead space to really drive home the poem and the picture that you're trying to create. Remember that in a concrete poem, the image that you leave behind with your words is just as important to the poem as the actual poem itself. Have some fun with this one. It's a great creative art form. Enjoy.